So anyhow, I'm telling a story here. I'm working um, on the backside of things where I'm hoping that the lady at Rogers is recording this so that we can bring this tape forward to show mankind. Hopefully, Jaden can watch it and see things that she needs to see. So what we're learning about is her first cousin Leia being like a backup to Jaden in case she shoots me down because if I can't find love with her, then I have to find it with somebody. So I'm looking at a particular scene with bees where the the bees in the colony, when the queen dies, they have to choose another queen. So that's basically what's going on with this story here. In the event that Jaden sees me as some kind of a monster, and that's all she sees, and she can't get past what I did to save her and mankind. But perhaps maybe her cousin Leia can. She goes, well, I can get over that, what he did to protect all mankind. So there's that backstory there, but there's also a little bit more deeper backstory. So what I've been shown is that Jaden, you stumbled across a picture of me over at Audrey's or 88's when you were digging around pictures with Cassidy, because 88 used to take pictures in the community of everyone in the community, and she'd always take my picture growing up. So I theorized that you stumbled across a picture of me in a suit and tie with my long hair when I was probably about 17 years old. And, I theorized that you were 9 at that time and developed your first crush on me through that picture. So I also theorized, Leia, there's a similar story with you where after having that conversation in the van, that must have ignited something inside of you where, you recall going through your mom's pictures of all the pictures she used to take in the community, because your mom was the same way. Your mom used to always take pictures of me and everybody in the community growing up. So I know that there's pictures of me at your house with same suit and tie, same age, 17, same long hair. So it's my thesis that you probably developed a crush after we had the conversation in the van, and you knew about those pictures there. So it's like, wow, that guy, he's genuine. He's a nice guy. This that. So it's theoretically possible that perhaps you developed a crush at 8 through the same picture that Jaden developed. Because I would have looked the same in both pictures, wearing a suit and tie with long hair at 17. And that's what I'm trying to explain in this movie that I'm making here in my back room, in which I hope is being recorded by Rogers, so that one day mankind can watch it. So there's a lot of information that I'm trying to tell in the movie, but it's just faster for me just to tell the story of what I'm trying to convey through the movie. So right now we're looking at a particular scene where when they choose a queen, the bees, they feed her royal jelly. So we're now watching. There's something about Mary where the guy he does that, and the jelly lands on his ear, on his left ear. So I can't remember the actress's name. But anyhow, she comes to the door and she sees that royal jelly hanging up the guy's ear, and she grabs it and puts it in her hair. And then they're sitting at a restaurant, and the girl comes up to them and says, would you like more wine? And the guy says, yes, yes. So the wine is a metaphor for being this house, because through the association of Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse means Amy Sherry Winehouse, because that's my ex's name, Sherry Wine. So the Winehouse is a representation of Amy Winehouse. Would you like some more Amy Winehouse? When they asked that at the dinner date. But seeing as Amy Winehouse doesn't want anything to do with me, therefore you have to substitute that bottle of wine that comes to the table with a representation of Leia Winehouse. Because this could be Leia's house through the association of Sherry, my ex-girlfriend, meaning Leia Winehouse. So the wine that comes to the table is a representation of Amy Winehouse or Jaden Amy Solomon Winehouse being replaced with Leia Amy Winehouse through the association of my ex, Sherry Wine. And the hair gel in the in this particular scene, which is not really hair gel, it's royal jelly, is a representation of Leia replacing the queen of all creation by developing like a crush through royal jelly. That's what the royal jelly particular scene is about. When about bees, when they feed the queen, or when the queen dies and they make a new queen from royal jelly. It's a representation of Jaden's love for me dying, because she can't see me as a normal person. She sees me as a monster. So her love has died for me. So the royal jelly is a representation of replacing her. And the association with the hair gel in that particular scene means that perhaps her cousin Leia walked down the exact same road that she did, developing a little crush through a picture that, of me when I was 17. Because, it would seem that, if that's her story over here, Jaden's story, developing a crush through a picture she's seen of me as a young lady, and wanting to, potentially, living in a fantasy world where, it'd be nice if I could get with that guy who was 17, but I'll never get with him. But now that the opportunity is here to get with me forever, and she shoots me down for that, well, then what's my recourse? Well, that's where her, cousin comes into the play, where if it's the exact same story, and I don't know, ladies, if it is or not, but if it is, then it makes perfect sense that this young lady developed the same crush that her cousin developed, who now doesn't want anything to do with me. So therefore, the story is basically the same. She developed a crush on a much younger version of me, and probably lived in this fantasy world where, she wished she could get with a 17-year-old version of me. And now that opportunity is knocking on the door in the event that Jaden shoots me down. Well, then, Leia, that potential opportunity is there for you to seize. So that's what we're learning here in the back room here when I'm creating my YouTube show, which I hope will one day be broadcast to mankind through Rogers when the person comes forward. But if they don't, one day this thing is being stored in the center of the earth. You can watch it there, or I could make another duplicate copy of this movie when I get permission to talk on my phone the way I want to talk. So you guys can tune into this phone and watch me sit at home here and tell the story. But that's what we're learning today, and it would take me about 4 or 5 hours just to tell you guys what I just told you in the past 7 minutes, because that's what I'm trying to convey. But I'm using secret code talk. Like I have to type in words on my YouTube feed and bring up the word to tell you what I'm trying to convey, and that's just taking too long. So I thought I'd make this short video regarding this this new queen. And Jaden, it's designed to ultimately open up your heart again, because if you've closed your heart to me, perhaps knowing that your first cousin can replace you as my love interest, it might just reignite that flame in your heart, because you'll realize that you're going to be replaced forever, and it could be the worst mistake of your life. So I thought making this video might be a good first step for you to learn that, your cousin is knocking at the door if you shoot me down, and she's going to get your spot. That's what we're looking at. So anyhow, that's the end of this video. So when you watch the hair gel, it's a representation of Leia, developing a crush on my hair, the same way that Jaden developed a crush on my hair. The royal jelly, or the hair gel, is a representation of Jaden being replaced like a royal queen, which is connected back to Thor: Love and Thunder. So when you watch Thor: Love and Thunder, Gore's daughter at the very end, that's Leia, because she's younger than Jaden. She's 14 and Jaden is 25. So when you watch the trailer, Jane is Jaden, who's supposed to be 25. But Jane dies in Thor: Love and Thunder, which is a representation of Jaden's love for me dying, and me having to choose her cousin, which is what Jane says at the end of when she dies. She says, "Keep your heart open, Thor. Keep your heart open." So it's like basically telling me to keep my heart open for her first cousin. So then that's the Thor connection. But there's also a connection to Californication. Californication talks about little girls from Sweden dreaming of silver screen quotations. Well, Thor is connected to Sweden because that's what do they call that? That's their belief system, Norse mythology. So Sweden is Norse mythology. So the girl in Thor: Love and Thunder at the end of the movie, Gor's daughter, who ends up with Thor, is a representation of Leia dreaming of silver screen quotations, which means me because of Sam Waitmoon and Creepshow. Sam Waitmoon, he has long hair in there, and he's in a photo booth, and he says, someday this hair is gonna get me to Hollywood, right? So that's what I say on my YouTube at one of my very first videos. I say someday this hair is gonna get me to Hollywood. So the photo booth in Sam Waitmoon is a representation of both these girls developing a crush on me through photographs that Sabrina had at home and photographs that Audrey had at home. And it's the hair that did it, but also the suit and tie because of ZZ Top. Every girl crazy about a sharp-dressed man. And it doesn't say every female. It doesn't say every woman crazy about a sharp-dressed man. It says every girl, meaning a 9-year-old girl and an 8-year-old girl developing their first crush on the creator through a picture of me in a suit and tie with long hair. So you got to add in ZZ Top. So the photo booth and Sam Waitmoon is a representation of both of them developing a crush, I theorize, through a picture. And now you got to add in that photo booth in Avril Lavigne's video, Girlfriend, where she goes into, there's a photo booth in that particular video. She gets in, the girl in black jumps into the photo booth and starts taking pictures with the boyfriend. The girl in pink is a representation of Leia because she has glasses, but the girl in black is a representation of Mother because, dark is associated with darkness and evil, so she thinks I'm dark and evil. But you flip the two, and it's a representation of the girl in black being Leia wanting to be my girlfriend because of the particular lyrics, I'm the motherfucking princess. Which means I'm the motherfucking Princess Leia from Star Wars. Star Wars, which I might add, is about, that's your element, ladies. Jaden, I should say. The star, the black hole at the bottom of the star is the element time. So Star Wars simply means time wars, meaning there's a war going on here. And in order to win, I need to be with my mate who controls time. So, Star Wars, it's another subliminal meaning between the creator having to find a soulmate who wants to spend forever with him. Because it's very hard to make somebody like you who, once you learn the spiritual warfare tactics, the lengths to which I had to go for here. So, that's that photo booth in that particular girlfriend thing is another clue indicating that both these girls must have found the photograph and developed a crush because I think they both go into that photo booth. I'm not sure, but that's what that particular song is about, which is connected back to Californication. Little girls from Sweden, little girls named Gor from Thor: Love and Thunder dream of silver screen quotation, meaning somebody's dreaming about me because of my hair in Hollywood. That's what it means. So there's another connection to you, Leia, and what I'm trying to convey here. I don't know for sure or not, but don't drag me over the coals, ladies, for these stories that I tell, because this is just what I'm analyzing. When I come up with my stories, I have to analyze things through videos that I'm watching through YouTube. And we're talking hundreds of millions of videos that I could choose, and it's just these certain videos that I'm picking. So don't rake me over the coals over these stories that I'm telling. Anyhow, that particular song, I think Californication, talks about a teenage bride with a baby inside getting high on information. The teenage bride with a baby inside is metaphorical for Leia because she's 14. That's what that song is about, Californication. It's a representation of me having to leave Jaden behind because she doesn't love me no more. She's too in love with her current boyfriend and doesn't see me as what she used to when she had a crush on me. So therefore, I have to choose somebody else. And um, that person is her cousin, who is Leia, who's a teenager. It's not saying that I'm going to impregnate her at 14 or 15. It's just saying, it's just to connect it to the fact that she's a teenager. We wouldn't probably bind our souls till we're in our 20s or something, right? So that's what it's referring to. So a teenage bride with a baby inside getting high on information. And prior to this song, we were looking at Blinded by the Light. Blinded by the Light has a particular lyric where it's called Madman drummers, Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat. The teenage diplomat is connected to Princess Leia because in Star Wars, that's what she is. She's a diplomat. So that song, Blinded by the Light, by the Manfred Earth Band, has that lyric. Madman drummers, Indians in the summer with a teenage diplomat is referring to a teenager who's 14 years old who's associated to Princess Leia. So it means with a Princess Leia diplomat. And then you connect that back to Californication with a teenage bride with a baby inside. And the clues just keep piling up, piling up, piling up. If you remember the previous video, I told you that there's a lot of clues here. We're talking thousands, ladies. You girls both have thousands, and Sherry has thousands. Minotma has thousands. So, forgive me if I'm just trying to, find my my spouse who I have to spend eternity with. So, what's the other one? Oh, it's 100 Years. 100 Years by Five for Fighting. He talks about 15. There's still time for you. So who's 15? 15, there's still time for you. Well, that's Leia, because next year she's going to be 15. So it's referring to, 15, there's still time for you, meaning, like time, the mother of all creation, meaning that spot's reserved for you. That's what it's referring to. So when you listen to 100 Years by Five for Fighting and you hear 15, there's still time for you, it means, Leia, there's still time for you. Leia, that's what that means when you turn 15 next year. So it's referring to me also, as in, you have to look at it from a third person perspective. So it's like, Anthony, there's still time for you. Meaning, Anthony, there's still somebody out there who has the element time, which you need to destroy or take over creation. If that girl over there doesn't want anything to do with you, then there's still time for you. Like you still have the ability to find a mate whose element is time. So that's what that song 100 Years is about. So I might as well talk about that because I'll probably get to that next. So when you hear that, 15, that's what that means. But it also talks about 22. I feel her too. That's you, Jada, because that's your lot number. That's the lot number given by the Lands and Leasing Association. Your lot number is 22. So when you hear him say 22, I feel you too, it's about you. So that song has both of you ladies through the number 15 and 22. Now you got to add into the association or the fact, Taylor Swift sings a song called 22, which is your song, Jaden, which is connected to Lover, but that you got to also add in the song 15, which is connected to Leia, being 15, and the song 100 Years with the number 15, which then by process of elimination means that song Lover is also attached to her. So when you listen to her song 15, it's a representation of that as well, Leia. That's your song. That's your age number. So there's a lot of clues, and so this video that I'm making here at home, which I hope Rogers was recording. Well, someday you may watch this video, ladies, and if not, well, at least you're gonna watch this on my YouTube playlist and know that someday, somehow, someway, you're gonna learn all this information that I'm recording here at home. So all of it is tied back to Vision. I'm watching the trailer Vision Quest as well. So Vision Quest, there's a trailer Vision Quest with the song by Journey talking about only the young are free to fly away. So that song, Only the Young Are Free to Fly Away, is connected to Leia flying away because you don't want to fly away with me, Jaden. You want to fly away with Sean. Therefore, if only the young, because she's 14, you're 25, only the young can say they're free to fly away, which is associated back to the queen bee, a different queen being chosen who can fly away. So that's the Vision Quest connection. And then, you got to add in, what's the other one? What lovers do. Okay, so what lovers do. So the butterflies in what lovers do, that's connected to a temporary tattoo that Leia had on her thigh on one of her pictures on her mother's Facebook. So that butterfly is a representation of her, like Leia. That's you. The butterfly's there, and then when the kid climbs up the tree, and then he reaches for the queen hive. That's you, Jaden. You're the queen hive. I'm trying to reach for you, but because he's a boy, it's a representation of you thinking I'm just a kid, which is connected to Vision Quest, the trailer. The guy's talking about the girl of my dreams is living in my house, but she thinks I'm more or less a kid, a dumb jock, which is more or less true. So it's a representation of you thinking I'm a kid and pushing me away, and I fall out of the tree. And when Adam Levine lands on the ground, he's an adult, which is me. I'm not a kid. I'm an adult. So when he lands on the ground and he's an adult, he begins chasing that girl around with the butterflies, which is a representation of me trying to chase down Leia because you don't want anything to do with me anymore as the queen. So I got to chase down this other girl and make her the new queen of all creation. So when he's laying on the ground, you're going to notice his feet are like that. And over here, there's a dinosaur here, a Triceratops. So the dinosaur has many implications. It's a representation of Sherry because she has the nickname or the acronym Sarah, like Sherry Ann Rose Onnequit. Sarah. So the Triceratops means try Sherry Ann Rose Onnequit, because she's the tops, so I'm being told to try that. But aside from that particular clue, the dinosaur is a representation of First Got Horny to You by the SNL skit, where there's a dinosaur in that skit who says, I fell in love with a carnivore. That's right, the teenage kid from Dinosaurs. So that's a representation of, one or both of these ladies developing a crush on me through the picture because I'm a dinosaur. I'm 51. It's just the age thing. So I'm 51, but in the picture, I'm like 17. So when you watch that particular skit, First Got H to You, that's what it's a representation of. So that Triceratops in What Lovers Do is connected to that Saturday Night Live skit about girls developing their first crush on a dinosaur, which is me, an old man. But so when you see the Triceratops, and then you see the girl running towards the Triceratops with the butterflies, it's a representation of you, Leia, developing a crush on a dinosaur. So it's just another particular clue. But in terms of this particular story that I'm trying to tell, it's a representation of me trying to catch you because this other lady doesn't want anything to do with me. So she now takes up the representation of the dinosaur because we're the original mother and father of all creation. But what do I do if the original mother, reincarnated mother of all creation, doesn't want anything to do with me? So she represents the dinosaur. And if you notice in the video, the dinosaurs, I think, has two particular scenes in it. You'll see them running around a racetrack, and then you see the dinosaur just come into the picture over here. And the dinosaur's last, and then the girl's in front. So it's a representation of Jaden being last. Meanwhile, Leia's getting first. So that's we're looking at What Lovers Do as well. So now I was also looking at the flame because when you look at when you listen to the flame, it talks about you were the first, you'll be the last. So you would think of that as being you're the first, you'll be the last. It means you were the first, Jaden. you'll be the last though. So in a race, because you're a runner, right? You always got first place when you were running, but you were so good you ran against the boys and you beat the boys all the time. So you were the first, but you'll be the last if you don't get with me. That's what that particular song, "The Flame," is about. Me trying to reignite a flame in your heart that has long gone out because of my actions that I've done to save you, save mankind, plus those stories that I told through the community letters that made me tell a bunch of lies about you, and then my posts that that on Facebook that probably made you dislike me even more. So I really did a lot of damage here with my spiritual warfare and me trying to convey who you are to me. And I've only done more damage than good, and I've destroyed the love that you possibly might have once had for me as a through a crush. So that's what the song "The Flame" is about. Me trying to reignite that flame because it's connected back to the Seven Fires prophecy, where they talk about the flame will be reignited in the seventh fire. And there'll be a rekindling of old flames, he says. There'll be a rekindling of old flames. So the rekindling of old flames is a representation of me trying to restoke the fire back in your heart by letting you know I'm a good person. I'm not a bad person. And hopefully letting you know that your job as the mother of all creation is on the line and your cousin is knocking on the door to take that job away on you.